Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal video today. As you can see, this patient's got some really deep-seated wax here. It's all pressed right down against the eardrum, really tucked into all the valleys there as well. You can see we've got a little bit of dry skin here at the entrance. We're just tidying that up before we do anything else. You can see it's all coming away really nicely. Now we're just going to go in that a little bit deeper. You can see here we're just working our way down to this very deep section of wax, trying to lift it from that base sort of valley section. You can see how it's all stuck along the canal wall here at the bottom. It's in a really awkward position to be in here, all along that sort of that left-hand side canal wall there. Just very slowly drawing this away. There we are, you can see it's just starting to crumble, but it's quite dry and quite sticky. So as we're pulling this, what's happening is actually stretching the wax rather than it sort of coming away nicely in a big sheet here. Just very slowly working back and forth just to try and loosen this a little bit before we go back in now. Just trying to lift from this left side here, just trying to lift, from the right hand side here, just trying to lift up from that one corner. There we go, you can see it's getting a little bit more dry and crumbly here at the base of the canal. Really jammed in there. So to give you a bit of backstory while we're just working on this deeper section, this particular patient had been having some real severe hearing issues, had been using a cotton bud just to go in there and try and sort of relieve those problems, thrown lots of drops in here as well to try and loosen this up. But you can see that what's been happening is the drops haven't actually made it all the way down to the bottom of the ear canal, to the eardrum there. So when we say to put things like olive oil in, what we always say to the patient is stay on your side for a little bit, just to a few minutes, just allow that oil to work its way all the way down to the actual drum itself to soften everything up as much as it can. You can see here, as we're drawing this out, a little bit of the hair just went across the camera lens then. But as you can see, as we're drawing this away, it's such a dry consistency here. And we've got to be really careful with this because it could be dried onto the drum behind. Although we can just start to see a little glimpse of the eardrum there on that right hand side. You can just see that bluish color there to the top right corner. But what we're doing now is drawing across from the left. We've cleared that top section. You can see it's all hidden now behind this recess right just in front of the eardrum. So what you get on ear canals, you get this little kind of recess that forms, which forms just behind this little sort of bump that comes out the side of the canal, if you like. And it just all sandwiches down inside there, especially when it's been pressed into place with a cotton bud as well. So we're just trying to take this drier wax now off the left-hand canal wall. You can see peeling it all the way down, because as we were trying to pull that, all of this section sitting in front here was holding this in. If the wax was a little bit looser and a little bit wetter, sometimes we'll draw it past that, but because it's all dried into place here, we've got to really kind of tease this around here from this left across to the right hand side. You can see this kind of drawing motion where we're trying to pull it out of that recess and draw it down the canal at the same time. There we are. It's just getting a good grip. There we are. Gently then holding the suction tube in position for a little while, just holding onto it and just drawing across. You can see us flick back across then to the right hand side just to try and take some of that. Now we're back onto that left to draw this away. Try and tease it around that recess. You get a little wiggly motion here, very gently drawing this. You can see it's painstaking because it's so dry. It's holding on everywhere. It's just trying to get that loosened off the canal walls here. There we go. You can just see it starting to loosen a little bit there. Nice big chunk just come away then. So we've popped a bit of olive oil in here now. You can see that's got all the way down. Because we use a spray olive oil, it does tend to get right down in there, which is really helpful, especially for this deeper type of sort of wax that we've got here. The olive oil will do two things. It'll help us to get a good grip. It'll also help this drier type wax to slide across the canal wall a little bit better. So you can see now still working on this left side. Very slowly. We've used the fine end here because we've only got a little bit of the wax protruding around that recess. So what's going to happen there is we need to use that much thinner tube to get a good grip on the top to draw it around the corner. The wider suction tube just wouldn't, if you imagine you're trying to put a wide end on a much, much thinner, smaller piece, you're not going to get the suction grip, whereas a much thinner tube there, much thinner fine end tube is going to get that suction grip, although the grip isn't quite as strong. So you trade off the size against the amount of suction you're going to get, or the amount of suction force. But you can see now I'm trying the same process over and over again. I know it looks quite repetitive, but every time we get a grip and draw this out, we're just loosening the bond with that wax against the canal wall. And you can see how this is really firmly sandwiched up against the eardrum. So imagine pressing against the drum. It's not going to allow that drum to move. There we go. Look at this coming away. Look how much was down inside that recess. So we've got a good grip now. We've pulled it out. It is such a big chunk. I mean, it's always really deceptive when you look at what's hidden down in what we call the valleys. Well, I personally call it the valley. So just down in front of that valley, just in front of the eardrum, you're surprised at how much debris you can get caught down in there, and it makes a massive difference. When it's really sort of dried as it was there, it's dried onto the eardrum, onto the canal wall, it's all pressed together, you know, it just really causes a few problems. So we're just tidying up a little bit around the outside edge here. Just taking some of these looser dry bits that we were passing over at the beginning. A lot of people ask me in the comments, actually, you know, wouldn't you be better off clearing away what you see on the very outer part of the ear canal first? I mean, that's not always the case. I mean, you could see here that clearing away that outer section wasn't really going to make that much of a difference to the wax much, much deeper in. You know, this is a case of a bit of tidying up. Our main priority is getting this patient hearing better, you know, clearing out that really sort of problematic wax much, much deeper in the canal. Obviously, this bit we're doing at the outside now is just clearing some of the looser debris, what we call clearing away the bits and bobs, doing a bit of hoovering up here. So we're just clearing away those sections. Little bit here to that left-hand canal wall, just on the tip of the recess. Now this is very, very sensitive. This particular bit of ear canal here, it's very deep. The skin's much thinner. There's not a lot of cushioning underneath it. So basically what you're getting is it's very tender to touch. Let's put it that way. So we'll try and clear as much as we could off there, but you know, sometimes we will leave a little bit on there because it would just be too uncomfortable for the patient. There we are, you can see the eardrum there, hammer bone pointing off to the left-hand side, so this is the left-hand eardrum. And there we are, so looking quite good in there. This is what we removed, so we've got, oh, what's that? You can see I've switched the rulers out to try to make it a bit easier for myself. 1/2 inch, just over a centimetre, maybe, yeah, between a centimetre and a centimetre and a half there. So it doesn't look, you know, massively impressive, but when you think that was jammed right down against that eardrum and sandwiched between that recess and the eardrum there, you know, that would have been quite problematic for the patient. They really would have struggled with their day-to-day hearing at that point. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing it over, as always. So guys, I will see you again on Wednesday. Look after yourselves, look after your ears, and look after one another, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care, everyone.